Okay, thanks, Liz, and welcome to you, Steve, particularly. The rest of us know where we are and what we're doing. I'm obliged to tell you that this will be recorded, being a Zoom meeting, and I'm supposed to tell you that if you want to record it yourself, we'll provide you with equipment. But given that we haven't got any equipment, we can't make this promise. I don't know why we don't take it off every single one of these agendas. But so if you can't, unless you are a technical wizard, you can't record it yourself. There will be a Zoom, which is to see it, and it's for the public. I think we are supposed to have you first, public question time, but I think it makes more sense if we just go through all the apologies and get that done, and then we get into considering your grant and do that at the same time. Is the meeting happy for me to do the order like that? Hands up if you're happy with that. Thank you. Okay. So, Carr, who has a newborn of indeterminate gender. Well, I expect it is a determined gender, but I don't know what it is. Are there any interests that people need to declare, personal or pecuniary interests? We're not discussing the civic path, so.
We've got apologies from Jason and Brooke as well.
Ah, right. Oh, yes, they're kind of permanent, aren't they? For the time being, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right. We won't do the vacation from Hepworth Band. Steve, would you like to talk to us for a couple of minutes about what it's about and why it was urgent? Because we've kind of pulled people in specially.
We just need to formally suspend standing orders because we're now in the main part.
All right. All right. Will somebody propose suspending
standing orders to ask Steve?
Right. Seconded by Sean. Everybody in favour? Everybody. Steve. You're on mute.
Hang on.
Mute yourself. Do you know how to do that? There you are.
Sorry.
Right, off you go.
Okay, well, thank you very much for calling the meeting at such short notice. We've, over the last 2 years, been carrying out a programme of improvements to the bandroom facility at Jackson Bridge. And indeed, we were pleased to secure a grant from the Parish Council phase of that, which we used to help cover the costs of replacement windows and new security doors to the building itself. We're now in a position where structurally the fabric of the building, we've dealt with all those issues, and we're now moving on to the second stage of works to the building, which, given the sort of current circumstances we all find ourselves in relation to COVID, the most pressing for us is to be able to in first floor rehearsal studio to give us an opportunity to be able to return to rehearsals in a social distance way, and secondly to increase the volume of that space by opening up into the roof space of the building, and then thirdly to install extract ventilation system that is seeming to be one of the requirements that's going to be necessary as choirs, bands, ensemble normality in the new year. So that's what we're trying to achieve from this next phase of works. In terms of the funding and costs for that, we've had quotes for it, and it's in the order of £16,500 to do the full works to the first floor to achieve that. We've been fortunate to secure match funding from One Community Kirklees through their Match It programme. They've pledged 5,000 as match funding for any fundraising that the band achieves between November and the end of January next year. And we've set away with a Save Hepworth Bandroom community campaign to try and raise those funds. And I've got to say, since November, we think we've made a really good start at it, and we're currently over 2,500 that we've raised. So we're well on the 1,000 target, with which one community contribution of 5,000 plus the opportunity to gift aid all those contributions leaves us with a shortfall of £4,000 to complete the phase of works. We've committed 2,000 from our own funds towards that, which leaves us with a funding gap of 2,000. Hence the grant application to the parish council to see if we can bridge that gap so that early in with the works, and by Easter hopefully be in a position where, as restrictions begin to ease and begin to relax, we can get back into regular rehearsals in our own facility. What I would say is, during the month of October, we were able to undertake socially distanced rehearsals at the Civic Hall. We hired the space out there that was large enough to allow us to do that, and that was a really good experience for us, just to see how this thing can in the new norm as we move forward. So that's a brief summary of what we're trying to achieve from this. I suppose the urgency is, in terms of the matching pledge, that runs until the end of January next year. And we feel, in terms of showing confidence with all of that, it'd be really, really helpful to say, well, on top of our own contribution, we've now secured grant funding with the first phase in its entirety.
Thank you, Steve. Does anybody have any questions or queries or thoughts to Sean?
Hi, Steve. Could you tell us a little bit about how Hepworth Band kind of works with people in the community? Does it recruit kind of people into the band locally, and do you have like a program of encouraging young people locally to instruments, etc.?
Yeah, we draw our membership from a wide base, actually. I mean, in terms of the structure of brass banding, we're a championship section band, which, if you draw a parallel with football, is kind of the Premiership. We think we compete very successfully for a village band against some sort of very famous names in the banding community. And indeed, in March this year, our last performance before COVID hit was the Yorkshire Regional Brass Band Championships, where we qualified for the national finals to represent the Home Valley and Yorkshire at the Royal Albert Hall, which sadly didn't take place this year, but they've rolled it forward to next year. So come October next year, we'll be going out the Royal Albert Hall to do it. So I said the membership is, it is from the local area, but we also have players that travel in from South Yorkshire, and particularly from Manchester, from college, who study over there and choose to come across and play for the band. In terms of youth development, yes, that's very much part of our ethos. In fact, it's within the constitution of the band as a charity that we seek to encourage younger people to get involved in the art and science of brass band playing, really. We don't have a junior or youth band setup. And we were actually competing for the same pool of young players that were already involved with Holmfirth Music Centre at the high school, Hayde Edge's junior setup that's been well established for a long time. And we talked to these other organisations, and it was generally felt that there wasn't much purpose in competing for younger players' attention. So what we've tried to focus on is offering individual tuition from, and indeed we've got a number of players in the band who are music teachers, peripatetic teachers, and they offer their services out to young people who are interested in trying to improve themselves as brass players. So that's how we do it.
Thank you. Judith?
Yeah, can I just say that I think it's an excellent thing for young people to get into is brass banding. Anything to do with music should be endorsed these days. I've been to quite a few concerts where young people have been, and it's very encouraging to see some very young people who are playing various pieces of orchestral music having a go. And to me, that promotes a lot of friendship and unity within people. And might I also say that Hepworth Band has been on the go for an awful long time.
Anybody else want to comment? You've all had the application with the papers for the meeting. Do we want to move to voting on whether are you ready to move to voting on this? Okay. And I see all those in favour of supporting this application.
I propose that we give them the £2,000.
Right.
Someone second it.
Yeah. I'll
Thank
second
you.
that.
And that's yes.
And as well, though, it's been good to see the band out in the different villages around the area as well. The last few days, raising money for the band rooms and also spreading some Christmas joy. As a resident of Hepworth growing up, the band is a big part of the village. Hepworth Feast, the band marches around the village playing music. At Christmas Eve, they're normally playing carols outside the Butcher's Arms pub, and they do a lot of good things for the community and representing the valley. So, as the ward councillor, I'm very supportive of the band and the things.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Liz will make the arrangements with you about how and when and whatever, but as you can see, we've approved your application. Thank you for coming and talking to us.
Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Thanks.
Have a good Christmas.
Yes,
Bye.
and to everybody. Same to you.
Bye.
I
Bye.
mean, you're
Bye.
welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you wish to, which won't be very long. But I imagine you'd quite like to have your supper.
Well, you probably know at the moment, so I'm phoning in.
Oh,
And I'm 2 hours in front, so.
well, maybe it's time for a little aperitif.
Indeed, yes, I've been holding off.
Bye.
Thank you
for
very much.
coming.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
It's in Greece, this chap that's been talking to us.
All right,
Really?
for some, isn't it? And you, at least we're not out in the rain in the. I need to ask about things like DPI dispensations and all of that. I'm going to, unless you raise your hand, I'm going to assume there are no particular requests, no new ones from either councillors or officers. Am I right in thinking that?
YouTube.
So that's the main thing we had to discuss. Liz has something that we have to approve. We need to approve the minutes of the last meeting, which have been circulated. Are you on what happened at that meeting?
Yeah.
Kath?
Yeah,
You're saying you're happy, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So will somebody move that we approve them? Thank you, Sean, and seconded by Rachel. Thank you. So that's that. Then there'll be Liz's item, and I give you warning. There is a rumour that Kirklees Cabinet is going to approve the asset transfer on Honley Library. It's happened 3 or 4 times before, but it is looking quite likely. So it is quite likely that in February, March, April, we may have to have a couple of extraordinary meetings, because the agreement between us and Kirklees is with the lawyers at the moment, and we'll talk about that when they've been through it, because there's not much point in us talking about it before they've been through it. And it's not a bog standard one, because it transfers. A branch of the council is providing a service through the building. I think they are regretting offering it to us, but and wondering why they ever did it. But there you go, that's their problem. So there are odd things that we have to agree to, even though we will own the building. And then there are other agreements that are between the library service and the Friends of Honley, us and the Friends of Honley. So there will need to be a couple of meetings in the spring, and we'll have to call, you know, I'll have to call them as and when, and people will make them if they can. So I'm just warning you about that.
And I propose that we wait until that comes ahead, and then we can deal with it at the time. Because it's nothing
that's
that we
exactly
at the moment.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm just telling you that there will be extraordinary meetings in February, March, April time. We will have to have them to discuss those matters. Liz, I think, Liz, that brings us to the point you want to raise.
So,
Well,
so we need to talk about the budget.
Yeah, we
that
need to talk
was-
about the budget first.
Sorry,
on the agenda.
sorry. Yes, it's already, as you all know, gone to F&M, who approved it. But the only opportunity you had to comment on it was by email, and I'm sorry about that, but I simply had no idea how many meetings there were and things. Do people now want to come?
I'm just happy to note it. I was happy with the contents of your the email, and thanks for doing the discussions, Chair, and keeping us updated about it.
Thank you. Any other comments, queries, problems? I think.
I'm sorry, but you keep breaking up, so I keep missing sections of this conversation.
Okay. Do you
Right.
want?
I'm
Which-
happy.
Do you want us to repeat a particular bit, Judith? Who was speaking when you missed a bit?
And then when Tom was speaking, you know, it's a bit.
No, that's just Tom. That's just Tom.
Can I?
No, I
Can
don't
I?
think so.
Can I
Go on.
propose? Can I propose that we note it then?
Seconded by Tom. Who's in favour? Rachel. Everybody. You, Judith? Yeah. Everybody approves that. So we've noted the budget. It's already gone through F&M. I don't anticipate any problems at full council. But right, that's that done. Liz.
Yep, toilets. Okay, the bit on the agenda is I thought as we were having a meeting we could actually formally agree to the £630 for the internal door at the shop next to the toilets, because we were going to have 3 councillors go and visit, so it wasn't really properly signed off. So I don't know if you want to vote on that now.
Before we vote on it, do we have some quotes on these doors and where they're from?
I think Councillor Dixon can answer that, can't he? You've been dealing with, haven't you, Tom?
Yeah, I've been in touch with Eleanor, who's running the shop, and I went down there on Monday. Went down there and just to see get the final details about where the door would be. It's going to be like at the front of the building. I think she's acquired different quotes. I haven't seen them, but
well, we need to see them before we approve it. We can't just keep it. We can't approve it until we've seen the proper quotes.
okay. Well, it's difficult for her at the moment. It's very cold down there, and she wants to get on with the works as soon as possible, really.
Well, whether she wants to get on with it or not, we have to see some proper quotes.
Okay, but
just keep giving out money that we haven't got proper quotes for.
Right. Let me interject here, because I don't think the full committee has to see all the quotes, as long as the clerk and at least one and agree. That I think that will be all right.
We want to make sure of that. And if
Well, we can't.
It's not saying that it's only that they have actually got quotes. It's the parish council that wants to see the quotes if we're paying for the work.
Yes, but we don't need to convene the whole committee again next week.
No, we don't necessarily need to convene another committee meeting, but that should have been dealt with prior to having this committee meeting.
Tom, can you Liaise Shop and Liz.
I've
Yeah.
seen 2 quotes, and this was one of them.
Right.
I'm asked to
Where
say,
are the quotes from, please?
I can't remember. I could try and find it and put it on the screen.
Yes,
While I'm trying to do that, shall I talk about the other issue about the
Yeah,
toilets?
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know if you've
that's-
all seen, but I sent you 2 emails just earlier this evening, because there was a flood at the toilets last weekend. The drains were blocked, and John Ford turned them off. But after he turned off the water and closed the toilets, the water inundated the shop next door, dirty sewage. So I said that she needed to get quotes straight away. She's got 2 quotes. One is £800 to refit the carpets, move all her stock around and do that. And one was 550, and she wants to go with the 550. And I've sent you those papers over today by email.
and where were the quotes from?
Well, you can see that on the emails. One is a firm in Halifax, and the other one is called Carpet something or other.
All right.
Put it here somewhere. And there was about £110 of stock damage that was on the floor. I will make a claim on our insurance, but I think she should get on with it because it's a health risk, isn't it? If it's sewage water in her shop.
And does she not have any insurance herself?
Councillor Robert.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I went round there when I was round there on Monday. I asked her about the if she'd heard about the flooding. No, I wasn't aware that it had gone into the shop. It didn't look too bad, the floor, and luckily not much stock was damaged. So it could have been a lot worse than it was, but obviously it's still bad, and the risk of sewage and things like that going in there. We've been sent out with 2 quotes. I'm happy with the £500. She was talking about having some interlocking kind of that you can have, or like people similar doing in garages and things like that. So it'll kind of look a bit quirky, and that's still like the shop is at the moment, and not like kind of be some kind of like formal floor, but it will replace the floor that was there at the moment. And it's a big shame really, because the amount of time that they put into doing the shop up,
Yeah.
it looks really good at the moment. It looks brilliant if everybody goes by and see what it's like. And the purple floor in there down, it went with the whole thing. So it's a shame that they can't get the same thing, and they're going to get to replace them. But I just felt a bit bad for them because the shops had one thing after another, like with COVID and this flood and stuff like that. I just said to her, you really need a break.
Yeah. Councillor East.
I support going with the quote for. It's a sort of like, it's not carpet, is it? Sort of like a hard floor sort of solution, Tom, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
They're going to have carpet tiles down on top of
Carpet
the...
tiles,
yeah.
right? Okay. Well, I mean, it's flooded from the toilet that we're responsible from it, isn't it? Seems only fair that we should cover any cost really, whether it be via our insurance company or
I have a question. Thank you, Tom. I have a question, Liz. I mean, are we content, happy, sure that we've sorted out whatever it was caused it?
Well, it's just a blocked drain. It's people putting things down the toilet that they shouldn't, and it happens from time to time. I've got a lovely video of them unblocking it if you want to watch it, but it's not very savoury. I've got
No, thank you.
for the claim.
You can hold your own private showing of that at some other time.
Then.
I'll forego that pleasure.
Right.
Councillor East, and Councillor Blacker, then Councillor East, and then Councillor Dixon.
No, sorry, I wasn't wanting to.
Oh, you were just waving. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, are we going to look at putting something in place just in case this happens again? Because toilets do get blocked.
Well, I don't know what we can do. I mean, they're just, toilets get blocked, and he turned off the water so that the toilets were closed. I don't know why. I suppose it fed back and overflowed into the shop. We don't really know. I don't know anything about the structure of the toilets.
We asked John to have a look at whether we could change, alter the direction of the overflow some point? Or I mean,
Yeah.
I may be asking a dumb question here, but
Well, I think he was pretty taken back that it occurred at all, because he thought, having turned the water off,
see if
yeah,
there's some way we
I can ask him. I can
can
ask
you
him
ask him to have a look and
yeah.
yeah,
can
and
I-
see if there's some way that if it gets blocked up again, it gushes elsewhere and not into their shop. Bless them.
Well, yeah, and can I say that it's definitely dirty water? It's not might be dirty water. It was definitely sewage that
Yeah.
went into the shop.
Yeah.
And you can't, when you go in, Tom, she's done it so that she's put stuff up on plastic boxes. And I said,
Yeah,
don't tell people you've got sewage all over the floor. So she doesn't. So she hasn't made, it looks just the same as it does the rest of the time. I felt very sorry for her, because you say, I mean, she only just reopened. She's trying to stay open for Christmas, and now she's got to close at least one day to have the work done. So I think the least we can do is actually just support her to get it paid and try and claim it back from our insurance.
Yeah. Councillor Dixon and Councillor Hogley.
Yeah, I think we've got budget available for I mean, we've got 10,000 assigned for doing work. Some
Yeah, we have 5,000 actually,
which is a
Tom.
little one because. Oh, 5,000, okay. But
Yeah.
we haven't, how much have we spent so far, Liz?
Well, we've with the door, of course, it's going to be nearly 1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well within budget though.
well within budget. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Aren't we proposing that we pay for Hepworth Band by wiring money out of the lettable space budget in our...
Yeah, but we've still got enough.
We've still got enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have.
Yeah. As we do the carpets and
Hang
the
on.
door.
Councillor Hogley wants to ask something, I think.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't going to ask something. I was going to say what Tom was going to say about proposing that we do the carpets of the cheaper quote. And just to clarify, I've finally found the page in the financial regulations. And when the value is below £3,000 and above £100, the clerk or RFO should strive to obtain 3 estimates. So it's strive to attain. So if we've got 2 and this is urgent work that needs doing, not that we've just got 1 to work with. So I'd certainly, I mean, Tom can take the proposal and I'll second it to pay for the carpet.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, I was going to propose that we use the money that we've got available in the budget to pay for the carpets and also for the toilets. Sorry,
the door.
Well, if Liz could send out the quotes for the doors, that would be useful. The only other thing I was going to mention is, just now, Doug just sent an email through saying, I've been reminded and not claim on the insurance, as it could hike the cost of renewal, and we have the money this year. And so this would invalidate our claim or make the claim go up, Liz. Because if it's just for £500 and then they increase their premium by £500, it might just be worth paying for it ourselves.
Yeah.
But
It's probably an excess anyway, isn't it?
I haven't had time to actually make the claim yet, so I don't know, but that could well be so.
Yeah, it might just be worth
Well, shall I just ask whether...
I think we've lost you, Liz.
I'm not talking.
Oh. What? Rachel?
I was just going to say, can we just propose that we make those payments of the door and the carpets, and ask the clerk to either proceed with whether it's worth applying on our insurance or whether that's not worth doing, because there'll be an excess level. There always is on an insurance claim, so it's whether it's worth doing, but the authority to do it.
Thank you. Does somebody second that, please?
Yes, I'll second that.
Thank you, Mary. All those in favour? Everybody, thank you. I think we've covered all our business, haven't we? Have we, Liz?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to have dragged you out on a Friday, but the Hepworth Band thing needed doing. Sorry, Tom.
The only other thing I mentioned is, if when the toilets do close, could you possibly send an email out, Liz or Rich? Just somebody like that were closed and people were complaining about it, and I didn't know about it. I would have commented on it. And
Yeah,
Rich
sorry.
But it would have just been good to have had an email just with a bit of a heads up. I understand you're busy and it was the weekend, and it's exceptional circumstances, but it would have just been good if I could have stepped in and helped out.
Well, I think Rich had quite a lot of traffic on the Facebook page, and he did explain why they were closed, but people weren't very sympathetic, I'm afraid.
Well, yeah, people thought it was Kirklees, and people thought they were closed because of COVID, and people thought they were closed. And if I'd known it had been like flooded, I could have just said that to them. But
Yeah.
Councillor Blacker?
Yeah, was there a notice on the door explaining
Yes,
why they were
yeah.
closed? There was. I can't understand why people are complaining now.
Keyboard warriors. People just going on Facebook and getting running under the stick like Chinese whispers, and then going on a tirade about it all. But that's kind of like what Facebook is.
Your baby's crying.
Councillor Roberts?
Can I just say, sewage effluence that's gone onto the floors, they will need a deep clean before members of the public are allowed back into the toilets.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done that today. They've had the pressure washer out and they've been deep cleaning it today. Well,
Right.
I saw them when I went past.
We do have some bins, don't we, for people to put items into. We still
yeah.
have those. We do
Yeah,
have the
but-
sanitary bins still, don't we?
Yeah, but people do put their sanitary ware down the toilets, I'm afraid, and this is, yeah. You can have a look at the film if you want.
You go now.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for coming
Thank
out for
you.
a special
All right.
meeting.
Bye,
Bye.
then.
Have a good
Nice
weekend.
weekend.